I've talked to countless people over the years, wonderful, vibrant souls just like you, who keep wondering why life isn't working out the way they dreamed. And every single time, the answer isn't out there, it's right here within us. The answer is us. Today, my friends, we're talking about how to stop getting in your own way. Because here's what I know for sure. Age is not a barrier, it's a breakthrough. It's time to finally step aside from your fears, your excuses, your what-ifs and could-have-beens, and let your best life in. You've come too far and learned too much to hold yourself back now. So let's get real, let's get honest, and let's learn together how to move out of our own path and open the door to the extraordinary life that's still waiting for us. Vulnerability is described as facing uncertainty, risk, and emotional exposure. Can you recall a single act of courage, whether you've experienced it yourself or seen in others, that didn't involve uncertainty, risk, or emotional exposure? It's a challenging question because the answer is always no. I've posed this question countless times, and I've even stood before Marines and Special Forces operatives, urging them to think of an instance where courage didn't require vulnerability. In 10 years, not one person has been able to provide such an example. Even in combat, courage always comes with vulnerability. If you believe you're acting bravely without facing risk or uncertainty, then it's not true bravery. Because courage demands not knowing the outcome. People often say, I want to be brave, but I don't want to be vulnerable. And I tell them, that's impossible. Nobody enjoys discomfort or vulnerability, yet everyone desires courage. But the two are inseparable. When I ask others to define vulnerability, they respond with things like initiating intimacy with my spouse, or watching my child leave the house convinced they'll earn the top spot in the orchestra while I know he likely won't even join the orchestra, being let go, launching my own venture, being the first to say I love you in a relationship, attempting to conceive again after losing my first pregnancy. Vulnerability means facing uncertainty, proceeding even when you don't know the outcome, because that's what bravery looks like. The issue, I believe, is that one of the biggest sources of shame for men is being seen as weak, and in our society, we equate vulnerability with weakness. So it doesn't take much to conclude that showing vulnerability is shameful. As a result, men tend to react to shame in two ways. They either get angry or they withdraw, hiding behind a facade. What we're discovering, and what many are realizing fast, is that you can't be a bold leader without embracing vulnerability. You must be willing to have tough, uneasy conversations, deliver difficult feedback, accept hard truths, and dig into contentious topics like Charlottesville that most avoid. Discomfort is the true adversary of courage. My mantra, one we repeat often here, is choose courage over comfort, because you can't have both. If you think you're being brave while feeling completely at ease, you're not really being that brave. I was truly surprised to find in the research that the opposite of belonging is about blending in, because blending in means evaluating a group and wondering, who should I become? What should I say? What should I wear? How should I behave? Then altering yourself to match. But real belonging never requires us to change who we are. It insists that we stay true to ourselves. If we blend in by reshaping ourselves, that isn't belonging. It's not belonging at all, because you've abandoned your own truth for others, and that isn't lasting. You begin to fade away. So it's difficult. You must stand firm as yourself. You can disappear in the act of fitting in, and you can also lose yourself in resisting it. It's truly challenging. This idea is at the heart of Braving the Wilderness, beginning with a quote from Maya Angelou: we are never free until we belong nowhere. We belong everywhere, which is nowhere, no place at all. For years, I thought this was a terrible quote, and I wondered, why would you say that, Dr. Matthew? But then I understood. She says, the price is steep, but the reward is immense. That's what I've come to feel, that I belong wherever I am, no matter the place or the people, as long as I stay loyal to myself. The moment I become who you wanted me to change just to fit in and ensure people like me is the instant I lose my place everywhere, and that's difficult. I mean, it's a daily struggle. How many of you are quick to blame? How many of you, when something goes wrong, immediately ask, Who's responsible? Hi, my name is Brene and I'm a blamer. How many of you jump to that mindset when something bad occurs? The first question is always, whose fault is this? Honestly, I'd rather it be my fault than nobody's. Why? Because at least then there's a sense of control, some illusion of control. But if you love blaming, this is where you might want to cover your ears. And because I'm about to spoil it for you. Here's what research tells us. Blame is nothing more than releasing discomfort and pain. It has the opposite effect of accountability, meaning those who blame often lack the strength and perseverance to truly hold others accountable. Why? Because we waste all our energy in a 25-second fury obsessing over who's at fault. Accountability, by its very nature, is a vulnerable act. It means reaching out and saying, hey, this really caused deep emotional pain. And discussing it doesn't mean assigning blame. Blaming is just a way to release anger, which is incredibly difficult. And it's also extremely damaging to relationships. It's one of the main reasons we lose chances to connect with empathy. When something happens and we hear a story, we're not truly listening. Instead, we're busy making quick judgments about who's at fault. There was a researcher at the University of Kansas, Lawrence C.R. Schneider, who passed away a few years ago. He dedicated his career to studying hope. I stumbled upon his work by chance when I was reviewing the list of words that all these wholehearted men and women shared after repeatedly running keyword searches in academic databases. I finally discovered his theory on hope. Not only did it transform how I view my work, but it also changed my life and influenced how I'm raising my children. Here is what I believe to be the most profound news of all. Hope is entirely teachable. For the majority, we can assess hope in individuals, measuring whether they exhibit high or low levels of hopefulness. Traditionally, those with strong hope have acquired it through upbringing, through parents who either directly taught hope or demonstrated it through their actions. As you'll notice, hope consists of three key components: goals, pathways, and agency. Put simply, people with high hope possess these three capacities. They can establish meaningful goals, which is no simple feat. They can develop pathways to reach those goals, and they have agency, the belief that I can do this. Here's what I find most significant. Hope emerges from struggle. Hope manifests as having a goal, recognizing it's attainable, and trusting in one's ability to get there, even if it requires adjusting plans along the way. One concerning trend in our culture is that we shield children from failure and hardship. They miss out on the essential cycle of effort, setback, renewed effort, and eventual success. What I frequently observe as a college professor is that by the time students reach us, the reality is entirely different. Many of my peers receive texts from their kids when, interestingly, hope isn't an emotion at all. Many of us assume hope is a feeling, a sense of optimism or possibility, like saying, I'm very hopeful. But in reality, hope is a way of thinking, a cognitive process. Hope isn't about how we feel, it's about how we think. Scores dip under 85. That's not how it works in college, or in the workforce. The last Fortune 300 company I talked to mentioned one of the biggest issues with many younger employees. They reach out to their parents about performance reviews and even ask if their parents can call their bosses. We often see hope as this unifying emotion, a kind of shared vision we create together. And while it can be a powerful connecting force, it isn't built on vague, dreamy notions of potential. When hope truly unites people, it does so through hardship, effort, and eventual triumph. Those who go through this together, whether it's a team at an ad agency prepping for a big pitch, a family, or a group of students in a classroom, what bonds them is the feeling of success, of accomplishment, after facing challenges. So what I'd encourage you to consider is this: hope stems from struggle, and it comes from not defining ourselves by our failures. The main obstacle to this sense of agency and direction is the belief that if I fail, I am a failure. What we observe in highly hopeful individuals is their ability to detach their achievements, struggles, and failures shape who people are. Shame, we believe, is the most fundamental human emotion, one we all experience. Research spanning 3 to 4 decades tells us that the only individuals who don't feel shame lack the ability to form human connections. If you don't experience shame, it's because you're incapable of connection or empathy. In essence, this points to significant psychopathology. So shame is universal and it fuels two dominant thought patterns. Never good enough and who do you think you are? These are powerful forces. Let me explain. Never good enough is telling. If I asked how many of you battle shame, no one would admit it. But if I asked how many wrestle with perfectionism, the response would differ, right? It would feel different. Shame is the root of perfectionism. Where perfectionism exists, shame is present. This is a universal experience, best understood as the fear of disconnection. The worry that something about us, something we've done or failed to do, makes us unworthy. It's when our self-worth is measured by our net worth, when homes are expected to look like scenes from a Pottery Barn catalog. How many of you got the Fall Pottery Barn catalog this year? It's heartbreaking to me. It really is. All I want is just one autumn where all the pumpkin-themed stuff stays outdoors and my kids are wrapped in cozy sweaters moving in slow motion, just once, you know? We live in a world where the media constantly dictates how we should look, how much we should earn, what we should weigh, even how often we should be intimate. There are all these expectations and nobody actually lives up to them, yet everyone acts like they do. The problem with shame is that it's a completely silent epidemic. It's almost ironic. No one wants to talk about shame. But if you check the Nielsen ratings from the past 5 years, the shows that dominate the top 10 are all shame-driven, especially reality TV. You want to know what courage means to me? Courage is having the strength to share your story while staying true to yourself. And that's not easy. People, both men and women, who have strong shame resilience, and this is based on my research over the last 3 years, tend to live more authentically. They experience love and belonging on a deeper level, and their spirit is far more unshakable. And honestly, isn't that what we all want? To feel at ease in our own skin? I believe that a profound sense of love and belonging is a fundamental human need. If you were to ask me, based on the research, what separates those who feel deeply loved and connected from those who struggle for it, the answer would be worthiness. That's the only distinction. Those who hold a strong sense of love and belonging within themselves believe they are deserving of it. The key, no conditions. Not when I achieve a certain title, not when I lose weight, not if I conceive, not if my spouse returns, not if my child gets into an elite school, not if I reach professional success. No prerequisites, worthy exactly as you are right now. Another essential element is resilience, which naturally arises when you can fully embrace your own story. We have the power to rewrite our endings if we're willing to step into our experiences and claim them. That's a transformative thing. Now, quickly on shame versus guilt. This is crucial, as many mix them up. The difference lies in I am bad versus I did something bad. Imagine this. How many of you, if you hurt someone, would say, I'm sorry, I made a mistake? Raise your hands. Now, how many would say, I'm sorry, I am a mistake? That's shame versus guilt. And here's what decades of research tell us. Shame is strongly linked to addiction, violence, depression, aggression, and eating disorders. Thank you. As we close today, I want you to remember one thing clearly. The life you deserve isn't behind you, it's waiting patiently right ahead of you. But to truly embrace it, you must first let go of what's holding you back. Today, you've made a powerful decision to stop getting in your own way and start stepping into your power. Your story isn't finished. In fact, your best